How's life after boxing been for you?
It's been very good. Yeah, I keep very busy in England. You know, I mean, thank God the public took to me many years ago, and I'm asked to officiate in different functions, to play a lot of charity golf days, which we do, and I'm on the after dinner speaking circuit. So I go around. I do about 2 or 3 after dinner speeches a week. So. It's very good, yeah. Life's good, as they say. Yeah.
How about being knighted? What kind of an honor was that for you?
Well, that was great. It's not so much for me. It's for, you know, it was for my family. I mean, my mum and dad, bless their hearts, they died before I got it. Jim Wicks, my manager, died before I got the knighthood. But it's great because in England, you know, in Britain, let's be honest, you know, there'd been footballers have been knighted, jockeys have been knighted, cricketers have been knighted. Boxing hadn't had a knight. So I take it, you know, as I won it on behalf of boxing as well as for my mum, dad, and Jim Wicks. Yeah.
You talking about the public took to you. In your opinion, why did they take to you so much? Why were you so beloved and still are?
Well, because I suppose. In a lot of things, I suppose, you know, they thought I was a bit gutsy because in most of my 9 out of 10 of my fights I got cut, and then I went on to win the fights from being cut. Where it looked like certain defeat, I turned it around and knocked people out, you know, to win fights. And I was the longest reigning British heavyweight champion of all time. I held the British, Commonwealth and European championships for 10.5 years. I was the only British fighter of any weight to win 3 Lonsdale Belts outright. No other boxer had ever done that. So all them things that help to build up a bit of a legend sort of thing, as they say.
And what fight do you consider in your career the proudest moment?
Well, I think winning each belt when I won that, you know, because to win a Lonsdale Belt you have to win the championship first, which I did, and then you have to successfully defend it twice. So you have to have 3 winning British titles to make it, which I did on 8, 9 occasions to win 3 outright. So each win of one of them was something very special because no one else had ever done that before. Yeah.
Okay. And 2 of the American opponents that you fought, I want to ask you about. One, of course, Ali. What did you think about Ali?
Yeah. Well, Ali was undoubtedly the fastest. He was the fastest moving heavyweight of all time. So, you know, if you look at Ali, he was quite a big man. He was 6'3.5". In his prime, he was weighing 15 stone plus, moving like a middleweight, which is very unusual, very unusual. I used to love fighting big men because majority of them were that bit slower. Their reaction time was a bit slower. So me being a light heavyweight, although I was a heavyweight, I was light. I was a bit quicker than the average heavyweight. That's what, you know, and a good left hook, so I won a lot of fights that way. But no, with Ali, he had great cat-like reflexes as well. If you look at Ali did lots of things in the ring. He did unorthodox. He did, you know, I mean, as a kid, I mean, I started boxing when I was 9 years of age, and you were taught you slip punches. You don't jerk your head back. Ali jerked his head back and got it because he had such he was so tall, great reflexes, he got away with it. And that's why all these other kids who try to copy him, they all come unstuck because they all drop their hands doing what Ali did when he knew he was just an inch out of reach, and they're all getting clobbered. They're all getting clobbered, you know, because you can't beat the original. The original, and Ali was the original. Yeah.
What about the incident with with ripping the glove in the corner? That had to upset you a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, at the time, yeah, because I knew something was going on. Because in them days, when you trained and fought as long as I had, you could judge us 3 minutes to the second, and I could judge a minute in the corner to a second. And there I was sitting in the corner for nearly 2.5 minutes, because Anjo, he'd seen the time he got Ali back to the corner, he had less than 50 seconds to revive him.
Sure.
So he had to cause a commotion. He had to get time for Ali. So he saw the stitching on the glove had stretched. It wasn't torn, it was stretched. But he stuck his finger in, tore it, and called the ref. The referee had to then go and speak to the steward in charge, sitting at ringside. The steward in charge had to send a guy back to the dressing room, which at Wembley Stadium, which is a big football stadium, was 150, 200 yards away. By the time they got a new set of gloves to the ringside, he'd had a 2-minute, 2.5-minute interval. And that's all, a fit guy, that's all you want is to recover.
Yeah.
My eye was so badly gashed previous that he just came out and he hit me with a couple of punches on the eye, which started to bleed again. It was pumping bad, so bad, and the referee had to stop it. And that's the gory story, as they say.
And one other guy who also was considered a very quick heavyweight, Floyd Patterson. What were your thoughts on him?
Floyd didn't move on his legs like Ali did, but what Floyd did, he had just as fast or faster hands, I think, than Ali. And the thing he did better than Ali, he was a better one-punch merchant. See, Ali would hit you with a punch and stun you, and then he'd hit you with another 10 punches in a cluster, and referees had to jump in and stop him, you know, for injuring the opponents. But Patterson, he had fast hands, he had just as fast hands, but he had a great left hook. I mean, I fought him, and I'd caught him to the body with my left hook, and he'd been grunting and groaning a bit. I knew I'd hurt him, but he happened to catch me with a peach of a left hook on the chin, and put me down. And as I got up, I was still a bit groggy, and the referee had to stop it. Yeah.
Right.
But he was a good single one puncher. You know, screwed up a little bit mentally, I think. No, he was, you know, a good fighter. Yeah.
What do you think about, you know, you talked about the blood and the guts and the comeback. What do you think about fighters from your era compared to fighters of today?
Well, the big difference is his size. See, what they are now, generations are getting bigger. What the fighters, heavyweights now, what we're talking about, they're battleships now, aren't they? They're great big heavy battle. Where we used to be like cruisers, we used to sort of move around a bit quicker. Most heavyweights now bulk up. See, they all bulk up now to absorb punches. If you look at you know, our guy Lennox Lewis, who's 6'5", he's the best moving heavyweight. When he comes in at 17 stone, 17.5 stone, he's the best moving heavyweight in the world. Unfortunately, sometimes when he comes in at 18 stone like 6, they weigh him in now 3 days before a fight. See, it was different from my day. When I fought, I had to weigh in on the same day as you fought. So whatever weight I was, you know, I was only getting in the ring perhaps a pound and a half heavier than what I weighed because I'd had a meal on this. But now what they do, they weigh them in 3 days before the fight. With eating and easing off of training, they can be like 6, 7, 8 pound heavier, and that's what they are. They're all 18 stone, and they're too big. I think that you don't get good boxing because they're all a bit on the slow side. You know, all right. You know, you get the power of punch and all that is there, but I don't think you get as good a boxing as we did in the 40s, 50s, and the early 60s. Yeah.
And how is Lennox perceived in England? Is he pretty popular? Or?
He's popular, but see what Lennox doesn't do, and if I'd have had anything to do with him in his management side, see what Lennox does, he has a fight and then he'll bugger off. He'll like he'll go to Jamaica where his mum come from, or he comes here to America or Canada. See, and the general public don't get to know him because what he should be doing is going on television shows, doing all the quiz shows, doing that which I used to do. That's why I got well known, because I was doing quiz shows, I was on the chat shows, all the big chat shows, I did all them for years, and the public got to know me. But they don't get to know Lennox because directly he has a fight, he buggers off somewhere, you know. Yeah.
What do you think of the fight tomorrow night? How do you think he's going to do?
Well, I think he'll win. I've heard a lot of talk coming from Tyson and his camp, and to me a lot of that is like whistling in the dark. He's trying to convince himself, you know, he's going to do. It's all whistling in the dark, and I just think that Lennox now will be too big and strong for him, and as long as he don't get careless in the first 2 rounds, that's the big danger. Tyson will be dangerous for the first 2 or 3 rounds. As long as Lennox is not careless and he's got a great left jab, a ramrod left hand, if he goes in there and just sticks that in, he'll knock him silly with that, and I think he'll stop him in around about 5, anything after the 4th round, I think, yeah.
Mr. Cooper, thank you.